different group.
Yeah, I was in a different group.
Let's stand, please. I've asked our IT director, Pat Oblander, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the June 23rd, 2014 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Kevin Cook, who serves as vice chair and represents District 2, and Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
First item, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments about the consent agenda?
I have no questions.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda as presented by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we have vouchers that total $1,142,046.13. The highlights of the vouchers are we have payroll, a reimbursement for our COP, the Expo roof, the FQHC medication costs, holding accounts with the state of Kansas, our Blue Cross Blue Shield payments, Topeka Civic Theater payment, and workers' compensation payment. Those total up to 81% of the vouchers, or $919,867.99. But I have no questions, and I move for approval.
I have no questions. Second.
Again, thank you for summarizing, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve the vouchers as presented, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
There are no correction orders today.
Thank you. Next item.
Item B, information technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 248-2014 with Eagle Software, Inc. for annual maintenance of the Spectra T120 tape drive system used to create tape backups for data stored on critical servers in an amount of $4,999.20.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat Oblander with the Information Technology Department. As mentioned in the memo, this is a renewal for software, or for the maintenance for the hardware component of our tape backup system. This is the system that we use to create tape backups of all the major servers that we have running, our SQL servers, our systems that we use to support our 911 backup center. A lot of critical applications are backed up on this machine, and we want to make sure that we keep it in operating condition at all times. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
See no questions. I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second.
And would you stay for just a minute, Pat?
Yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. I just wanted to get a quick update on the virtualization project, if you don't mind.
Okay. On the virtualization project, we've virtualized quite a few of the servers for the county. We've also spun up a lot of new systems that we'd anticipated just creating from scratch on the virtualization platform. We've got a SQL Server farm built that's supporting quite a few critical applications for the county. So we have virtualized a significant amount of the systems that we use here in the county. One of the biggest ones is the 911 and the records management system that we're migrating for the sheriff's office. That has been spun up in the virtual platform for quite some time now, is working quite well. We're also virtualizing the tax system, the CIC server that we're using to migrate from the mainframe to the client server world. That's on the virtualization platform. So we've got quite a few critical systems that are on that platform at this point. We'd made some progress at taking some older systems and getting them change from their physical implementations to virtual. We've hit a bit of a snag. We've got some personnel changes that have been made. We're getting those taken care of. That'll get us back on track with getting those systems picked up and moved over. So some good progress. We're stalled right now on moving some of the older things across, but we expect to get that back on track here shortly.
Are you pleased with working with the contractor that we selected?
Yes, very pleased.
Okay.
I can't say enough good things about them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. And we're a little bit behind schedule because of some of the turnover of personnel that we had.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions regarding virtualization project?
No, thank you very much, Pat.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Pat. Next item.
Item C, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of a revised project budget for the replacement of the Southwest Docking Road Bridge over Mission Creek from $680,800 to $819,704 to reflect changes in project design to accommodate permitting requirements mandated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Kansas Department of Agriculture, Division of Water Resources and Wildlife and Parks.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Black with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item, and as you may recall, this item was on the agenda a few months ago, in which we recommended, we took bids, and the bids came in quite a bit higher than what had been anticipated. So in doing some investigation with the contractors who did bid at that time, they had indicated that some of the requirements that were set forth for the permitting required them to not enter into the creek bed to do their work, which required them to do quite a bit additional effort. So we recommended at that time that the bids be rejected and to go back and communicate, have further discussions with the permitting agencies regarding that permit. They came back and agreed that with what we were wanting to do, that the permit, that the requirements they had set forth at that time were really not necessary as far as entering into the creek bed to do some of the construction because of the timing of when we were going to do it. But there's Topeka shiner is what it's called, endangered species, and there is a certain time of, I guess, breeding for that species. Our project was slated to occur after that breeding period. I don't know if they weren't aware of that, or I'm not sure what the reasoning was. But anyway, the long and short of it is they redid the permit so to allow our contractor, whoever the contractor would be, to go into the creek to do the construction. So now we rebid it once we got the new permit. However, the unfortunate part is when we rebid it, or when we bid it earlier, it was at a time when there wasn't much work had been bid yet. So contractors, in our opinion, were probably hungrier at the time. After waiting several months, many contractors have a slate of work to be done. They're not as, I guess, ambitious in their bids. So we did rebid it here just recently. We only got one bid this time. The prior bidders who bid initially did not submit a bid. So anyway, on the second bid, we actually saved about $50,000 from our previous bid. So from a few months ago, we saved around $50,000, but we're still higher than what we had anticipated the budget for this project would be back in 2012. That's not great news, of course, but on a positive note, this project is to be funded by sales tax, and on several of our other projects, we have come in under budget, so we can still fit this project and do all the other projects that we anticipated within the sales tax program because of the other savings we have realized from previous sales tax projects. So at this point, we believe that it is best to revise the project budget. We will be coming forward to you in the near future with the bids, the bid from the second time around, and we will be asking at that time to enter into a contract. But at this time, we are just asking to revise the project budget up to the $819,704 as mentioned in the memo. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Well, the latest and greatest is what, about 140,000 more than we anticipated before?
Yes, from the original budget, yes.
Would it make sense to wait until some contractors are hungry again? I mean, we only got one bid back. Does that, or is this
I
time
thought
critical?
about
or
that.
Yeah,
I
it
thought about that.
just struck me.
My opinion is there's always one, our easements and right-of-way will have expired. So we'll have to go out and renegotiate those again. And these were not necessarily easy negotiations on this particular project.
Okay.
And then also we will be another half a year down the road with what's going on with fuel prices right now. I guess our recommendation is to move forward. And we still fit it within the framework of the sales tax program.
So all things considered,
Yes.
this is the right way to go.
I,
Commissioner?
that's our opinion.
Okay.
Just a follow-up question. It was 140,000 difference from your estimate in 2012, but then the last bid, you said there was a $50,000 difference?
Yeah, our last bid, if we would have accepted the bids last
Last time,
we would be asking for an additional around $50,000. So
Okay.
from the time we bid it a few months ago to this bid, we actually brought that price down about $50,000.
right, okay. Okay.
Other questions or comments for Mr. Block? Motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the change order
Or actually, it's just a project budget. at
or
this time.
project budget.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract budget, or project budget by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C2, consider approval of a request to fill a vacant road maintenance position at an annual salary, including benefits, of $32,604, and any subsequent openings that may result from filling this position.
Commissioners, we recently had a person that was terminated from their position, and we would like to refill that position and any subsequent positions that may result if someone within our department fills that position, then that position would become open, so we didn't want to fill that one until we are at full staff again. Leaving this open would leave us understaffed at one of our districts. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions or comments regarding the proposal?
I have none. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C3, consider approval of resolution number 2014-51, authorizing the placement of streetlights at the intersection of Southeast 45th Street and Southeast California Avenue.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item. As you're aware, we are in the midst of our second phase of construction for Southeast 45th Street from Topeka all the way out to California. This particular phase goes from Adams to California, and we are constructing, or will be constructing, a roundabout at 45th in California. And as part of the guidelines set forth by the Federal Highway Administration and the Kansas Department of Transportation, of which those guidelines we follow, roundabouts are required to have streetlights at those types of intersections. So with that, this resolution would approve the installation of those streetlights. And I'm not talking a traffic light, I'm talking streetlights for illumination. And that would just put that in place for us to do that and keep us in compliance with federal highway requirements. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions or comments about the resolution?
No, I would move for approval of the resolution.
And I'll second. Motion made to approve the resolution by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to fill 2 vacant park maintenance workers at a salary including benefits of $36,838.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. The request before you this morning is to hire 2 park maintenance level positions. One will work in our Parks Division, and one would work in our Golf Division. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions for Mr. Knight? A motion for Mr. Knight.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Next item,
Commissioner.
please. Thank you, John.
Item E, elections. Number 1, consider approval of a request to fill a vacant assistant election system specialist position at a salary of $33,654.40 plus benefits and any subsequent positions that may become vacant as a result of filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
As you can see, this is a request to fill a position in our office. It's a critical position, and we would like permission to begin working on that. If you got any questions, I'll certainly stand for those at this time.
Questions for the Elections Commissioner about this request?
I have none. I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.
Next item.
Item F, audit finance. Number 1, update on expenditures and revenues as of May 31st, 2014.
Good morning. Betty Griner, Financial Administrator. I'm here with our May update, and I will start, as always, by saying this is a snapshot as of May 31 of 2014. I will start out going over our revenues. And these are our total revenues. I'll go over the total and then I'll break it down by category. You can see through the end of May that our total revenues were $51,291,000. Our budget for that same time period was $48,921,000. So we are a total of $2,370,000 over budget. Now, I do want to point out that that is 2.4% of our total budget of $98 million. So keep in mind, 2.4% is a pretty small variance in the big scheme of things. For the month of May, our variance is $490,000. So we are $490,000 over budget just for the month of May. The majority of that was in mortgage registration fees, and I'll get into that in more detail later. You can see this kind of shows here just, you know, this blue part is property taxes, and then we go on from there. We have the red is special assessments, the green is other taxes, then property-related fees are in the purple, the other blue is charges for services, and then miscellaneous. And what you really can see from this is that 79% of our revenue comes from our property taxes. Okay, if I go breaking this down into property taxes, we did not receive any distributions for property taxes for this month, so that has remained the same as last month. Same as with the special assessments. I guess I could go back and say for the year, our property taxes, you know, since we had no distributions, they are same. We are over budget by $949,000 for the year. Special assessments goes the other way. We are under budget, $224,000 on those. Now, other taxes, we did receive a franchise tax payment this month, and that was $26,000 over what we had budgeted. So our totals here, we had our actual we've received are $1,821,000. Our budgeted was $1,445,000. So we are $375,000 over budget. Majority of that is coming from motor vehicles, which is 276,000 over budget. This time I did break out our other revenue, and I did a separate chart for the property-related fees. I just think that it's important that we are aware of how much money we receive in these. This is an area that the revenue is going to go down for the county in the future. The Kansas legislature, they repealed the mortgage registration tax, which that will be effective January 1. So that is going to affect this category and this revenue. You can see right now through the end of May, we had received $1,251,000 in property-related fees compared to our budget of $983,000. The property-related fees includes mortgage registration tax, zoning and permit fees, and filing fees. For this year alone, through May 31st, we had received $1,038,000 in mortgage registration fees. So, you know, I just think it's important for you as a commission and for the public to be aware that repealing this tax, although it's going to be phased in over a 4-year period, is going to have a significant impact on the county's revenue coming in. Okay, if we go down to charges for services, this includes parks and rec fees, sheriff's fees, detention facility fees, and then other charges from the county for the different departments. And our actual revenues are $2,717,000 compared to our budget of $2,648,000. So we are $68,000 over budget on that. The month of May, we were actually under budget by $53,000, but since these are spread through all of the different departments and different fees, those can fluctuate, you know, and that is a pretty small fluctuation when you consider our total fees that we bring in. Then we go on to our miscellaneous revenue. As you can see, our year-to-date total is $2,928,000 compared to a budget of $1,995,000. The major component of that is our defeasance income that we received earlier in this year, and that was $503,000. We also have we are over budget on our investment income of $43,000 so far this year. So we're, you know, being able to recognize a little more income on our idle funds. Other than that, they're kind of spread throughout the rest of the area. Okay, so
Can I ask
now,
Can I ask
yes.
a quick question?
Yes, please.
We had a clawback from Home Depot of about $500,000.
We have not received that yet.
Okay, so that's not reflected in
No,
these numbers?
that is not
Okay.
reflected in that.
Thank you.
That we received in June.
Okay,
So
thank
that
you.
will be reflected on the next one.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we go into the expenditure side. And you can see that our year-to-date expenditures are $36,870,000. Our budget was $38,653,000. So we are $1,782,000 under budget on expenditures. There again, that is 1.9%. So just to keep that in mind, 1.9 is a fairly small fluctuation. We were actually a little over budget for the month of May, $60,000, but there again, when you look at $60,000 compared to our budget of $95 million, that's really right on budget. This chart here just shows you the different categories, the expenditures by category, and the largest being the bottom one with the blue here, and that is public safety, judicial, and emergency services, and that makes up 46% of the expenditures. So it just kind of gives you an idea of, you know, how much is spent in each of those areas. Then this last chart shows each of those areas with their year-to-date, their budget, and then last year's. And The reason I wanted to show this chart and what it really shows to me is that in every single category, each category is either at or below budget in expenditures. So I really, what I see from this is that every part of the county, every department are really working at watching their expenditures, holding their costs down as much as possible, and we are succeeding at that. At this point in time, we are, like I say, I have seen that across the board, everybody is really working at that, and this shows. So, any questions for me?
Questions for Betty?
No.
Commissioner?
No,
Um,
thank you.
Thank you for the update, and I thank you for bringing up the percentages to keep us grounded in our view of things. And I know last year when we went through the budget process, we were conservative.
Yes.
And when you are conservative, a lot of times you'll have pleasant surprises. Some organizations are not conservative in their view, and then they have bad surprises.
Well, and as we talked about when we were working on the budget last year, if you are conservative in your estimates, then there's that comfort level. If something does come up, you've got the funds to cover it.
Right.
If we were not conservative, especially in our revenue estimates, and then we had a big expenditure, something major come up, then we would really be putting the county in a worse position.
Exactly. Yes.
And speaking of budget, 2015, Betty, can you kind of give us an idea of our process going forward in July?
Yes, we will start, I believe, well, it's the first part of July, I'm not sure the date, 2nd or 3rd, I believe it is. We will start with the budget hearings. Each department will come and, have their hearing. They will present whatever they want to the commission. We will go over those numbers. You will have an opportunity to ask questions of them. And in addition, the social services that the county gives money to will also have an opportunity to come and present their request. And you will be able to, ask them questions as well. Once we have gone through all those, there will be a combined budget, and usually that budget is based on requests alone that is published in the paper, and there will be a public hearing. That public hearing date is August 6th, is that right? I hate to say the date because I don't have it in front of me, but there will be a public hearing date for the public to come and express their opinions on those. And after that time, then you as a commission will start looking at the individual departments, the individual line items, and make your decisions on what would be the final numbers. And then it must be adopted by August 25th. Is that detail enough?
Yes,
or-
yes, and I guess just to stress the importance that we seek public input all along the process, and that we're going to stream
Yes, right.
those hearings live, and they'll be able to access those also on our website, so that we seek input all
Yeah,
along.
absolutely.
all
And
along.
I agree. I've asked Pat Oblander to have a direct link to
Oh,
the
yeah.
budget
Yeah.
schedule, the hearing schedule
Mhm.
on the front page of the website, because, yeah, we need to encourage public to attend. This is probably the most important job we do, and we need all the public input we can get in the process, so.
Well, and I mentioned the public hearing, but I believe the public can also come to any of the department.
Right.
Absolutely.
Department
Absolutely.
hearings also.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Did you have something?
Well, I was just going to add that I like the word cautious rather than conservative. And I think that we're being very cautious as a board. And just that was my 2 cents.
Well, I think that's a distinction without a difference, Commissioner. That's just me. Okay, thank you again, Betty. Good job. Good job, it's appreciated. Next item, please.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Are there communications this morning from for public communications. All right, Commissioner.
John Knight had a great event at Old Prairie Town this weekend with the ward meet with wheat stock. It was a very good event. I had the opportunity to go and attend, and wanted to recognize John and all of his staff. The grounds looked great, the facility looked great, the music was fantastic, and so it was a really good event. And so I'm glad that we're able to do community events like that. It was a free, but there was a donation accepted, and those go to support the Ward Mead facility. And so these are great community events that Parks and Recreation do and should be recognized for.
I just wanted to clarify that John Knight did not perform, did not cook hot dogs, did not cook hamburgers over there, which is probably one of the reasons why it is so successful and one of the biggest events Old Prairie Town does have outside of the Apple Festival. It brings in the most money to help support it, and it does a terrific job. So
Yeah.
that, and we also had the Tin Man this weekend as well. Participation numbers on that have fallen off just a little bit, but it's still a terrific event. I did not know that Commissioner Archer had participated in that. And I wanted to thank him for being out there. I was over at Old Prairie Town, so that's why I didn't see you there. So.
I was there in spirit, actually. Commissioner, any
Um,
thoughts?
I just had the opportunity to go to the Sunflower Soccer Complex groundbreaking yesterday at 3 o'clock. And a lot of kind words for the commission and their appreciation for our support of that, and stresses the importance of public-private nonprofit partnerships. So they look forward to working with us all along the way.
Good.
It's very exciting.
Good.
Commissioner, I do have one last
Okay.
thing. I just want to take a moment and send out my sympathies to the Anson family. Coach Anson
Oh.
with Washburn University passed away over the weekend. He was a great coach and a great attribute to Washburn, added a lot to our community, and he will be greatly missed. And as a county commissioner, just wanted to express my sympathy to him and his family.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Commissioner. The only thing I wanted to mention is I wanted to thank Tim Rencher for his article on the sales tax projects. I thought it was well done. I wish it had been on yesterday's newspaper, to tell you the truth, because the circulation is so much better. But job well done, and I hope we get a lot more articles about the sales tax, because it's important to our community, and it's important that our citizens are informed about what actually is in the sales tax and the projects. Okay? Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
Don't believe there's a need, so we are adjourned.
Commissioners, the 10 man in the group for women in their mid-24 and 20s, Ally Van Dyke, competed.